So what is going on with my body? It's been an interesting process. We're in this together. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube. As you can see, I am back in Sydney. You would have seen that from previous videos on my long 10-hour drive, but I've been getting heaps and heaps of questions about the diet, and I've been trying to stay consistent with my diet updates whilst creating other content, but I just thought I'd do a quick one with a physique update, what's been happening in the last couple of weeks since I last updated you after the diet break, and what I've been doing with my calories, and some factors that impact your weight, not necessarily fat, but weight, scale weight. As you guys know, you've been watching this series, you know there is a difference between your weight and your fat. Things that influence what the scale looks like poor sleep, stress, inflammation, certain foods, when you're weighing yourself, sleep, blah, blah, blah. So I want to just talk quickly about environmental factors and coffee, and yeah, give you the diet update and physique update. So let's do that. All right, so what is going on with my body? This has literally been the slowest rate at which I have lost body fat ever since understanding the rules and principles of energy balance, calorie deficits, how to manipulate energy output. Yeah, so it's a very interesting time to be filming, because if I documented properly any of my previous diets for you guys, you would have seen very consistent drops, you would have seen plateaus, but you would have seen me dropping on a lot higher calories than I've had to dig deep for this diet. So I kind of just want to talk a little bit about that. I did speak about my metabolism and the adaptations that I've experienced in the video on my drive back. I also just want to say, I know I speak about a lot of scientific stuff and I cover a lot of things and I'm able to explain a lot of things, but there are also a lot of things that I don't know, and I am the first to admit that there's a lot that I don't know, and there's a lot of things that the body does that I can't necessarily explain. It's easy to understand the overall principle of how we actually lose weight, that is to be in a calorie deficit. A lot of people keep writing comments like, why are your calories so low? You're such an active person, your BMR should be higher and all this stuff. Yeah, but it's not. My body chooses. So can we just get over that? Do you think I want to be dieting on 1200 calories? No, but that's what I've got to do to get the weight off. So let's just all chill about the fact that we don't all get to choose what calories we lose weight on, and that's just the way it is. If I were to eat 1500 calories consistently, I would be dropping at an incredibly slow rate, because I'm pretty sure my maintenance calories are around 1650. It's something I'm going to be building up again once I finish the diet with a proper reverse diet, but previously I haven't reverse dieted properly. It's a really challenging thing. So anyway, yeah, my deficit calories are just lower. The thing is, because my BMR and my TDE and everything, because they're all lower, 1200 calories doesn't feel as painful as 1200 calories would have felt when my maintenance calories were higher. So in my previous diet, I did 4 days at 1200 calories just to get the last weight off just before my photo shoots, and it was really difficult because the deficit was even bigger compared to where I maintain. Whereas now, because I maintain at lower calories, it's not the number of calories that my body's like, oh cool, we've had 1200 calories. It's like, oh, this is this much of a deficit for you. So 500 calorie deficit when you're eating at 2000 calories is 1500. Could feel the same as someone whose calorie deficit of 500 calories is 1200 calories. It's still the same number of calories that you're eating less, if that makes sense. I hope I explained that properly. It makes sense in my head. Same deficit, different calories, but we all have different maintenance calories. Yes, we can change them. I'm not struggling with the 1200 calories right now. Honestly, I wake up hungry. I have my decaf. Ugh. and it curbs my appetite in the morning. I have my first meal at 10, I have my next meal at 3, and then I have my dinner at like 6:30 and my magnesium drink, and that's it. Yes, 1200 calories. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's not bad. Like, there's nothing wrong with eating low calories, and I cop a lot of hate for this on Instagram and YouTube when I talk about low calorie diets, but it's like, my goal is to lose weight and I've got to be in a deficit. That deficit is 1200 calories for me right now. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm fine about it. So get over it. I don't need your hate. Bye. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about environmental factors. It's really interesting that the first 2 weeks of the diet, when I was at my dad's place down the coast, it was a different environment. Like, there wasn't broken sleep because there was a baby. I was on my own time clock. I was sleeping quite a bit. It was very calm and peaceful, open spaces, a lot of nature. I was still having 2 coffees a day. And then when I moved to Melbourne to my sister's, it was amazing, but obviously there were things like my sleep schedule was a bit off with the baby. My work schedule was off. It was just a different environment. It was a smaller space, more people. It was just a different lifestyle that I was living. So environmental factors can impact your sleep and your stress, which can impact the scale. As I've mentioned, I was also baking for the TWS recipe book and definitely exceeding my calories, potentially more than I factored in. Now that I'm back in Sydney, the focus has been on getting back into my routine and really prioritizing sleep and stress management. So one of the things that I'm doing for managing my sleep is switching to decaf. That's, you know, taking caffeine out and stimulants out is really going to help, or it has been helping, and you'll see in the why I'm switching to decaf YouTube why I'm kind of doing it and the impacts it's had. So sleep, and then just my steps were quite high the previous week, so it was like my body is quick to adjust. Like, when I bring my calories down, it adjusts to them really quickly. So I kind of have to keep bringing calories down to continue to see that progress because it adjusts so quickly. So when I put my steps up, it's kind of like, this is just normal. So my steps are 8,000 now, which is lower than they usually are. And it's actually really quite hard not to go over them because I like going for walks and stuff. So it has been difficult. So environmental factors can really impact what you see on the scale. Since I've been back in Sydney, I've obviously lowered my calories after my diet break and the deficit calories I was on before, so you would expect to see the weight come down because of that. I've been able to be more consistent because I'm not baking for the recipe book anymore, and my sleep is on point. It's been so much better, sadly, since taking out caffeine. Environment really affects what the weight does, and like water retention and inflammation, and I think it would be worth you guys kind of having a look at your environment and the way you're living your life, and if you're struggling to see the scale drop, thinking about some things you might be able to change, like I did, you know, switching to decaf if you drink lots of caffeine, or coming up with a better wind down routine before bed so you're actually getting sleep. Like, I was getting plenty of hours of sleep, but the quality of sleep, there's a big difference there. So you might be getting 8 hours, but it's broken sleep, or it's light sleep, or you're getting up and going to the bathroom. So try not to drink before you go to bed, and reading before bed instead of being on your phone. Like, these are all things that are going to impact the quality of your sleep, and then hopefully the scale. Do like a stock take on your environment and what your stress is like, and the routines that you've set up for yourself and the habits, and see if they're contributing to your goal or if they're potentially hindering. So coming back to Sydney it's been really interesting. So let's jump into a wrap up of how the last couple of weeks have been in terms of my calories and my steps and my weight. Alright, so I ran you guys through what happened on the diet break. I was having 1700 calories and my weight was 65.3, 65.3, 66, 66, 66.2 is what I finished the diet break on. And then I dropped into a calorie deficit of 1300. I went down to 65.8 and then 65.9, 65.9, and then this was the day that I dropped down to 1200 calories. So after that, 65.4, 65.5, that was the day after I got back from Melbourne. And then, so I'm back in Sydney now, 65.2, 65, 64.8. So that is from being back in Sydney and taking caffeine out of my diet and sleeping better. And I hadn't even trained that whole time because I trained Monday, Tuesday, and then I had 4 rest days, and then I'm gonna train today, which is a Sunday. My steps were like 13, 600, 15, 300. Then I dropped the day I drove, it was 8,800, then 10,000, 9,500, 11,800 yesterday. So they're still, you know, reasonably high. And my calories were, yeah, so Monday, 1369, Tuesday, 1218, 1231, 1192, 1213, 1252. So pretty bang on with the calories. There were some days that I was like 13 calories over. One day I was 50 calories over, which is fine because other days have been under. So I've had a drop this week of 390 grams. So this is comparing the averages. But at the start of this week, I am now 1.1 kilos lighter. So that's not all gonna be fat. That's gonna be like the reduction in water and inflammation from the better sleep and less stress and taking out caffeine and the different environment. It's really interesting to see those changes. It's like, yeah, it's really sad that taking caffeine out has been a thing that's helped. Decaf just doesn't hit the same. I will definitely be bringing coffee back into my life, maybe just after this dieting phase. What next? Okay, so the plan now, because my metabolism seems to be quite flexible and it responds too quickly to the deficit, I'm now going to be cycling a little bit. So I'm going to be doing 11 and 3, which is called Davuti's. It's this way of 11 days in the deficit, 3 days at maintenance. But I'm also going to be doing like a slight reverse diet type thing whilst dieting. Stick with me here. So what's going to happen is I'll do 11 days at 1200, and then I'll do 3 days at 1600, which is my predicted maintenance. Very low calories, but we'll build them back up. And if my body drops in the deficit, then my deficit after the 3 days of being back at maintenance, I will add 100 calories, so my deficit will be 1300. But if I don't drop, it'll stay the same. Same with the diet break calories, the higher day calories. If I continue to drop on the 1300, then I'll add 200 calories to the maintenance. So it's kind of just trying to slowly, gradually put more food into my body whilst doing as little as possible. So like the 8,000 steps, I'm keeping my training the same, 3 to 4 sessions a week of at-home training, the TWS at-home training program. But that's the process that I'm now going to be taking you guys on. This is just so crazy. Like, it's so crazy that it's this hard for me to lose weight because I've never experienced this in my life. Like, I've experienced struggling to lose weight, but before I had any understanding of what energy balance was. And I was like, but I'm eating healthy, but I was clearly exceeding my calories on healthy foods. Now it's like I understand energy balance and I'm like, but I'm eating in a deficit. Why am I not losing weight? The answer always is like, it's either not a calorie deficit or there are other factors, environmental stress, sleep, weight fluctuations, water retention, scale, where you're at in your cycle. I just like spat out so many words then. I don't even know if I repeated myself or they all made sense. This does fuck all. Anyway, there are those things that impact what the scale says, but it was just so weird because I like compared my pictures from week 1 to like my most recent pictures and was like, there's barely a difference. How have I been dieting for 8 weeks with no results? Like, this is so frustrating, but I can draw all the positives from it. I'm gonna spin this in a positive light because whilst it is hard, I mean, I'm kind of just in autopilot with it. And if honestly, if the scale wasn't coming down this week, I would be pretty like, I'd be like, nah, something's wrong. Like, something's up with my body. This can't be right. But thank God it's coming down. So I'm like, okay, my faith is restored. It's been an interesting process. But the positive is I'm really glad I'm able to show you guys this, because what the kind of messages that I'm getting are people being like, it's really nice to see that weight loss does take time, and it does for some people. Some people just have a really like a slower rate at which they lose compared to others. and that can change, you know, as you age or as your metabolism changes, or if you look at your history, if you've chronically dieted on and off, which I have. Like, I had a bikini competition and then I rebounded after that, and then I dieted again, and then I went into a building phase, which I didn't really do properly, so I gained more weight, and now my body just has this really clever self-defense system that it's so used to me dieting that anytime I go into a deficit, it's like, I see you, I know what this is about, we're not doing this, we're gonna survive, we're gonna be little bitches and make this really hard for you. So, you know, it's a smart body, but it's making dieting very difficult. I've stuck to my calories very easily this week. I've just been really motivated by the fact that if this doesn't work, nothing else will. So I'm like, nah, this is it. Like, I really need to work hard for this if this is really what I want. And it is. Like, I just want to get a bit leaner to sit where I sit comfortably in my normal body, like where my body wants to be as well. Like, I'm carrying more body fat than I'm used to, or that I comfortably carry for me and my shape and my bone structure and what makes me feel comfortable. So yeah, it's still something that I'm gonna push, and it takes time, but yeah, I'm really loving that you guys are supportive of this. Like, it can be really hard to share all the numbers and all the information, and the fact that I say, you know, weight loss is simple when you look at energy balance, but then there are all these other factors that play into it that I'm experiencing right now. So it's cool that I can show you, and it's really cool that I can show you that it will work. Like, I'm so confident that this is going to work. I know this is going to work. We just have to stick with it and stick to the calories. So that's a really cool message I can put out there and take you guys through. Even for this like fitness influencer person, I still have my challenges, so we're in this together. But anyway, let's have a look at a physique video that I took today, Sunday the 17th of May, and then I'll be checking in with you guys another time with like a full day of eating on 1200 calories to show you how I survive on that, how I bulk out my meals with volume eating. Let's have a look at the physique now, and we'll just have a look at what's going on. So one thing I've definitely noticed in my body is obviously like the water and the inflammation has come down. So I'm seeing a bit more definition through my abs. I saw in my photos that my glutes have come in a lot, which is where I tend to store a lot of the body fat. My lower body is very stubborn to change, so it kind of comes off my stomach the quickest, which, you know, no complaints, and is more stubborn around my arms and my lower body and glutes. Yeah, it's coming, I'm coming in more, and I am noticing some changes in my body, so that's really good to see. But yeah, it's just very slow, but we're working. Alright guys, that was the update and talking about environmental impacts on scale and our goals. I hope it was a good one for you this week, and I will be trying to keep up to date with everything that's going on with the diet back in Sydney. So if there's any questions, comment in the comments, and please don't comment on the calories that I'm on, because it's really annoying. It's just what I have to do, so it's like, get over it. It's my choice, I'm fine. Anyway, thanks guys. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, turn post notifications on so you don't miss anything of the diet series, and I'll be back with another video really soon. Mwah.